I'm Doug Basler, and this is Perspective. You know, one of the things that gets Americans so upset, so angry, is the waste that our government has, the inefficiency of it. Americans know this. I mean, every independent audit that's done of the government simply shows that there's, for every $10 in, only $1 gets out. So $9 are wasted in every dollar that the government uses. And that's what infuriates people about the government wanting to take over healthcare and take over all these different industries and things like that, because they are so inefficient, so wasteful. And, our government debt is one of my top priorities is to deal with the government debt, the national debt. They say it's about $20 trillion. That's a pretty high number. But if you add in the unfunded liabilities, pensions and promises made to different people groups, and unions and things like that, the national debt could be as high as $200 trillion. Now, I Googled the value of everything in the world, and I found it to be about $198 trillion. So can you imagine our federal government being so in debt that it's actually equivalent to the value of everything in the world? That's out of control. That's ridiculous. We've got to handle it. We've got to take care of it. Now, I'll tell you, the federal government doesn't have a revenue problem. The taxes are plenty high enough. We're already paying enough. As a matter of fact, the taxes can come down. The government has a spending problem. Did you hear about the report that came out just a little while ago where the Department of Homeland Security spent $1 billion to digitize a single immigration document? $1 billion. $1,000 million. Now, those of us in the Seattle area know that digitizing a document shouldn't be more than maybe $1,000 or $5,000. I mean, it's a very, very complicated document. It could be $100,000, but certainly not $1 billion. The infuriating thing is I doubt that anyone was fired or even reprimanded for that kind of a cost overrun, and it's become acceptable to them. That's our money. And as your candidate for Congress, I am absolutely committed to get to work day one to handle this accountability problem, this spending and waste and fraud and abuse that's going on in the federal government. I'm going to get after this thing. We're going to apply business-like accountability practices, and we're going to handle this, and we're going to solve it, and we're going to move on. And that's my commitment to you. I'm Doug Basler. I'm your candidate for Congress in the 9th Congressional District here in Washington State. I approve this message, and this is Perspective.